is my life. I've played football for more than 20 years. It's all I know.
He was a star running back who set records at 2 colleges. He even played ahead of a starter on last year's Super Bowl champion.
Drop play, it's Muhammad, breaks the tackle, he's to the 20, 25, 30, he's to the far sideline, go, 35.
Yet today, 27-year-old St. Louis native Mohamed Abdulqaadir says he's been unfairly denied a legitimate opportunity to play in the National Football League.
I outperform people who are in the NFL right now. It's just pure frustration, man. وَبَشِّرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَفَتْحٌ قَرِيبٌ Allahu Akbar.
I feel that my son was discriminated against because of my involvement in Islam.
What makes you so certain that it's because of your dad that you're not in the league?
Because he was connected to an un-American act.
During New York City, this airplane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
The second tower has exploded.
Plane hit the Pentagon. Hijacks are from the scene of the plane crash.
Abdulqaadir's father, Mujahid Abdulqaadir Manepta, a 58-year-old Sunni Muslim, made headlines around the country as one of the first United States citizens detained as a material witness following the terror attacks of September 11, 2001. Attacks that suspended the NFL season for a week and changed the nation forever.
Given the despicable acts of terrorism, we decided to cancel our games this weekend.
Manepta, who lived for a time in Norman, Oklahoma, was arrested on October 11, 2001. He already had been named in several federal terrorism investigations dating back to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. But this time, federal prosecutors were most interested in Zacarias Moussaoui, whom Manepta met in 1999. Moussaoui currently is serving a life sentence for his role in the 9/11 attacks.
They asked me a lot about Moussaoui. So what if I knew Moussaoui? How many other people knew him? You trying to take this and link me to this stuff because this man walked into a mosque that I frequented? No evidence of nothing.
The U.S. government charged Manepta with bombing conspiracy and conspiracy to levy war against the United States, among other felonies that could have led to the death penalty. Did you have anything to do with the terrorist attacks of 9/11?
Absolutely not. I couldn't even imagine. Had I had anything to do with 9/11, it would have been to stop something from happening. Actually, I'm awfully offended to be referred to as a terrorist.
The terror-related charges against Abdulqaadir's father were dropped, but his father did plead guilty and was sentenced to 15 months in prison for a state weapons violation based on several prior arrests, including a felony conviction for robbery when he was 18 years old.
That was the only thing I was actually guilty of, and I served time for it.
What was the purpose of the weapons?
I've had weapons practically all my life. I mean, I hunt, I target practice, and I had a pistol for home defense.
At the time of his father's arrest, Mohamed Abdulqaadir was in his second year at Coffeyville Community College in Kansas. There he once scored 5 touchdowns and ran for nearly 400 yards in a single game. One of his teammates at Coffeyville, running back Brandon Jacobs, now with the New York Giants. Abdulqaadir's coaches thought he too would make it to the pros.
He had the potential. I mean, you know, it takes a little bit of luck, but, you know, in a long line of backs that we've had here that went to the NFL, yeah, he was that quality of a back.
From Coffeyville, Abdulqaadir went on to Division I AA Southern Illinois University. As a junior, despite playing in only 8 games after breaking his left thumb, he ran for a school record 21 touchdowns. He rushed for more than 1,300 yards and was named first-team All-American. As a senior, he again topped the 1,000-yard mark, and for his Southern Illinois career, averaged 6.26 yards per carry.
I had warned Muhammad when I was detained, Muhammad, the way this country works, if you get this kind of publicity, chances are no one's going to touch you. They're not going to let you play football. I told him that before the draft.
The 2004 NFL Draft came and went, and Abdulqaadir's name was never called. 2 months later, the New York Giants brought Abdulqaadir in for a tryout along with other undrafted hopefuls. He was sent home after 2 days. People would argue that despite a productive career at SIU, that you just weren't a good NFL prospect.
What is a good NFL prospect? I mean, for instance, a guy out of my school, R.K. Whitlock.
5'9", 195-pound R.K. Whitlock followed Abdulqaadir at Coffeyville and Southern Illinois. Their scouting reports were similar, with the exception of a major knee injury Abdulqaadir suffered while at Coffeyville, and the fact that Abdulqaadir was 2 inches shorter. Whitlock went undrafted as well, but says he got calls from at least 6 NFL teams. He spent time with San Francisco and Minnesota before the Vikings released him this past June.
I see a lot of guys every year, get drafted, and I watch them play, and I didn't see very much of a difference from those guys and Muhammad. You see Muhammad doing the same things, and you're like, God, this guy can't, this guy didn't even get, half of a chance that this guy got, and I thought he had, the things that they look for running backs in the NFL.
Abdulqaadir says he was scouted at Southern Illinois by 2 NFL teams, including the Tennessee Titans. The Titans' general manager in 2004 was Floyd Reese, now an ESPN analyst.
He's not a very big kid. He's, 5'6", I think, something like that. Weighs 193 pounds and ran like a 4'6", 4'6", And in our world, those measurables are really tough to deal with.
Former New Orleans Saints Vice President for Player Personnel, Rick Mueller, also is familiar with Abdulqaadir's pre-draft evaluation.
The thing that he was lacking most was probably size and speed. That's a tough sell when it gets to the point of drafting, and even when you get down to the free agent type of players after the draft.
E60 contacted 10 NFL talent evaluators, all of whom declined to speak on camera, and yet who agreed that Abdulqaadir was at best a marginal prospect.
I don't care if he's a midget. If he ran 386 yards in a college game, 5 touchdowns, 21 carries, size has a lot to do with a lot of things. Heart has more.
NFL teams generally are more interested in their players' behavior than that of the players' families. In fact, the Baltimore Ravens drafted running back Musa Smith in 2003, despite his father's conviction on terror-related charges. However, the NFL still never has had a player with an alleged connection to the worst terrorist attack ever on U.S. soil.
We didn't even know about his family history, only because the level of player you're talking about. So that didn't affect him, I can say, in our circumstance. That had no effect on his opportunity to play in the NFL.
Of course, you're going to turn away from the guy that's had problems, whether they're his or someone else's, just simply because it can become a PR problem. It can be a concern. It can be something that is dug up later on.
I'll put you in a GM or head coach's chair, or an owner's chair. You got yourself, you got another free agent. This other free agent, running back, his dad wasn't held in question with 9/11.
Exactly.
Your dad was.
Right.
But you still take you?
No.
So you can understand why they wouldn't take you?
Of course. However, I'm not trying to rewind time and go back to then and ask them for a shot. I'm asking for one now.
Since 9/11, Abdulqaadir, a practicing Muslim, says he and his family have repeatedly encountered discrimination. He says he lost a scholarship from Washington State University in December 2001, though a school spokesman told E60 they have no record of the offer. He says he's lost jobs after employers learned of his father's alleged connection to the attacks. He says his family's home has been raided by the FBI 3 times. Abdulqaadir says that someone attached the GPS tracking device in this photo to his car. And this search warrant indicates that during a July 2004 raid, authorities looked to recover an FBI electronic tracking device.
It's just a bad time in America for Muslims. I mean, every time you look at the news, the only people that are portrayed as being terrorists are Muslims.
Since 2004, Abdulqaadir has played only one season of professional football, last year at $300 per week for the United Indoor League's River City Rage near St. Louis. He currently is unemployed, relying on his family and friends for moral and financial support as he makes one last run at the NFL. Abdulqaadir says he is stronger and faster than ever.
Good. Squeeze it. One more. Squeeze it. Get up. There you go. Get up.
E60 watched one of his daily workouts where he bench pressed 225 pounds 20 times.
Okay.
And ran several 40-yard dashes in under 4.4 seconds with an unofficial best of 4.22. All NFL caliber marks that his trainer says he routinely hits. Abdulqaadir says he's contacted every NFL team. None has expressed interest. If the phone doesn't ring soon, he hopes to land in either the Canadian or Arena football leagues.
You know, I don't have anything to do with 9/11. I feel as if I did everything I was supposed to do. I graduated from school. I stayed out of trouble. You know, I just want to get him to play special teams and be a spot relief guy, you know. I'm the all-American guy. I just want an opportunity to showcase my skills. And if I'm not good enough, send me home.
Why would this guy who thinks he has been blackballed, who thinks he has this talent, this potential, who's living in fairly desperate circumstances, not just pack up and go to Ottawa or go to, you know, Edmonton and play in the CFL?
I think it's easier said than done. He cites poor representation, you know, and just the opportunities weren't there.
Sounds like he's blaming everyone, but
if you
he's not looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not good enough.
He said his agent wasn't very good before. He has an agent
So he's an agent now.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to fathom NFL assistant coaches or head coaches being that knowledgeable of a guy to the point of saying
not
this
at
guy.
all.
The process goes
the process. I mean, there are people who have to be that knowledgeable about
but
every
you're only
aspect
knowledgeable about guys like that who can play. A lot of people also told me I don't know anything about his background because we established early on he's not a prospect.
Lots more to come on E60. Shock and awe.
I'm known for breaking things.
Size, strength, and the struggles of the strongman.
A world record holder.
A world champion.
Gold medal champion.
And an ultimate warrior. Next.